seeing the people quit and seeing the people that were not going to be stopped. I think at that moment, for the most part, you saw the people that were in it for the long run. And like, we all made eye contact with each other that like, this shit is miserable, terrible. It hurts. It sucks. And we all just kept getting after it, and we all kept going. And that was a special moment, because we all, that was the first time we showed up as individuals. I'm sure we all made eye contact with each other, and we formed that bond of like these are my brothers. This is why we're here.
Hey, what's up? I'm Steve Eckert, United States Marine, entrepreneur, and instructor of the Project. Welcome to the Project Show. This is a show for men in search of meaningful transformations in what we call the 4 F-bombs: the family, the fitness, the finances, and the faith. And this occurs through emotional, physical, and mental hardship and sacrifice, so that you can become even better husbands, fathers, leaders, entrepreneurs, and men. Today, on this episode, I want to invite a special guest, Julian Serrano. Thanks for coming by. Awesome to have you here.
Thank you,
Julian, can you just introduce yourself to the audience, where you're from, what you do?
So my name is Julian Serrano. I'm a firefighter paramedic from South Florida, and here I am.
Awesome. Thanks for coming. So Julian was a graduate of the Project Class 005, so we're going to talk about his experience, some of the highs and lows, and how things went with that, and get into some of the fun stuff. So let's just jump right into it. Julian, when you first saw the project online, you probably saw some videos, read some articles on it, whatever it was, on social media. What was it that stood out, that just grabbed you and you resonated with, where you said, you know what, this is something I need at this point in my life. Like right now, I need to become a part of this. What was it that really grabbed you? It
had to be the suffering, the suffering together with other men that wanted to be better men, and they were all suffering to get to that point. On the other side of suffering is greatness, but you have to suffer. And the cold water, the hikes, the running, all that stuff, you know, it just intrigued me into seeing, you know, all these guys suffering together. And I didn't see the other side. Obviously, that's why I came to the project, because I wanted to see what the outcome was.
So looking for suffering, looking for some pain and some sacrifice. That's good stuff. Why did you feel you needed to go through some suffering? What struggles were you going through at the time? What were you looking to achieve out of this?
I've had a good life, but I've always wanted to be a better a team person, a better leader with my family, a better manager with my time and my money. And I'm not essentially the best at that. I'm a great person when it comes to athletic ability and working out, but there's more to life than fitness. And you have to have an overall well-rounded wheel, as they say, because if you have one spoke that's off, it's going to be a rough ride. So that's why I wanted to come to the project, really, is just for that main reason. Awesome.
Were there any struggles you were going through at the time that you felt you needed to overcome, or any roadblocks in your way to get to the next level that you were looking to get to?
Well, you know, the biggest roadblock would have had to be, it's not about me, it's about we mentality. Which is really important if you want to be successful in any aspect of life. At the end of the day, it's not all about you. And the sooner you realize that, the sooner that your why on everything you do is more important. And I feel like you'll be more successful.
As a firefighter in paramedics, that's something you need to live by. Like,
absolutely.
Literally, if you're thinking about yourself for a split second, that could cost lives. Literally 100%. Cost lives. Like, it's a life or death situation to think of the team and the mission over yourself.
Absolutely. So that's a great point. If I'm watching your back, you're watching my back. And then if somebody else is watching all of our backs, we've got 3 eyes instead of one person just watching their own back. And that's one thing that I was instilled. But it's tough. It's tough. It's tough always remembering that, you know, it's not about me. It's about we. We're here for the team. And as a team, we can succeed at anything. So, and that correlates into family, into finance, into business, into everything.
So once you saw this, you knew this was going to be something for you. You knew this was going to be something to help you further your leadership skills and your teamwork abilities in your own personal and professional life. Did you have any hesitations about actually getting registered and getting started? Do you have any kind of fears or doubts?
Absolutely. You know, the doubt of what if I don't make it? I'll be honest, that's always crossed my mind. I think the difference.
And you've been through some rough shit. You put yourself through, and you still had the doubt of, what if I don't make this? What if I can't hack it?
Right.
Because we'll get men all the time that say, I'm not a quitter, it's not in my DNA, but
that's cute.
They're full of shit. They're full of shit, because every one of us, and I'm not afraid, we've thought about, we haven't done it, but we've thought about quitting at certain things. We thought we can't hack it. We thought we're not good enough.
Right.
Because any man that says, oh, it's just not in my DNA, I know right off the bat, that's going to be the first motherfucker to ring the bell right there. Yep, someone that talks like that.
Absolutely. So that's the thing. We can't control our thoughts. We can control our actions. So when it gets dark in your mind and whatever you're going through in life, you know, you got to press forward, and you have to remember that nothing lasts forever, good or bad. And so actually, at my life, at that time, I was in a good part of my life, and I wanted to see really what I was made of, and that was the sole purpose of me coming out here and joining this program, is to see, you know, I feel like if you're not constantly under fire, you get complacent, you get sedentary, you get soft, and so that was the main reason for joining the project.
Awesome. Yeah, we have a saying in the military, I'm sure you heard it, complacency kills.
Absolutely.
And literally, in your profession, complacency will literally cause someone to die. So
Absolutely.
It makes perfect sense. So let me ask you, during the experience, there was some fun stuff, some crazy stuff. What was your least favorite either evolution or event or drill that we had to do? What stands out as your least favorite?
Well, my least favorite would have to be the ice bath. So I'm from sunny South Florida, and when you wake up in California in the summertime, it's like 60, 55 degrees, which is a winter day in South Florida. So waking up cold and then knowing it's going to get colder was tough to swallow. But you know, like I just said, like anything, nothing lasts forever. Pain really is temporary. You just have to realize that it will end. And but that was my biggest fear, was that ice, and it's, you know, with Aaron helping us with breath work and us conquering that fear of just doing it, you know, it turned into, it wasn't as bad as the mind portrayed it to be.
And so it was something in your head ahead of time, you were having that fear, even after you got registered, that was something, another thing, you're having some fear and some doubt
Absolutely.
about, right? And you're not afraid to say that you had that. Like,
no.
Men, that's the problem with men nowadays. They think that if they say they had fear, they show any vulnerability, or they show any doubt, they think it makes them a pussy or soft or weak. I think not being truthful about that is what makes you a pussy and soft and weak.
Absolutely.
You're not Billy Badass because you're pretending that you're just unbreakable and invincible, because we all have our fears, our doubts, our frustration, where we question ourselves. So I appreciate you sharing that and being truthful about it, because too many men, and that's what the project exposes in a lot of men.
Right.
Those Billy Badasses are the bell ringers usually.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good stuff. So when things got tough, and it's interesting that was your least favorite, because for some people that's their favorite. It's so crazy how everyone is different, and that's what makes up a team. That's what makes up, like, think about it, in the project, the brotherhood. Everyone has their strengths or weaknesses. Same thing in their, I'm sure in your fire team.
Yeah, absolutely.
Different strengths and weaknesses you could rely on. There were guys who jumped into the ice bath. There was a Nordic guy from, I forget where he's from, like Switzerland or something. He jumped in there. It was like a regular bath. He was like a joke for him. A joke. Like, when are you going to put in the ice? And it's like 30 degrees. So everyone has their strengths and weaknesses. So that's awesome. So what was your go-to trigger at moments during the project, or just in life, when you're starting to think, I don't have what it takes, I can't do this, I'm going to fail, I'm going to quit? What made you not quit during the project? What was your go-to in your head, your trigger to make you not quit?
Man, it's crazy, because during the project you lose sense of time. You don't know, you know, how long you've been there. You have an idea.
That's because you're having so much fun, and we're having parties, and there's strippers, and there's fucking beer, and there's foot rubs every 10 minutes. That's why you lose track of time. You're just having a fucking blast.
All the good time. And, you know, honestly, even, you know, I've been through some tough stuff. I'm not bragging by any means, but in the project, I had to dial in mentally to just be where my feet are and be present, of like, just move forward. That's what I solely focused on. I've gotten a pretty good grasp on mentally locking into what's going on and not worrying about the ice bath, because I hadn't got to the ice bath yet. That was a big fear of mine, but I hadn't got there yet. And I'm like, if I worry about that, I'm not going to get there, because I'm not focused on what's going on right now. And so when it got super tough, because it fucking did, it got dark, and I'm like, man, I don't want to fucking be here. I want to go home. But I said, you're here for a reason. And like I said to you earlier, nothing lasts forever. Just suck it up and just press forward, just one foot in front of the other, or one lunge, one push-up, one bear crawl, one low crawl, a lot of low crawls, and that's basically it. So
awesome stuff. So what was one of your favorite things, favorite evolutions, favorite events that we went through?
So we did the hike with the little pig. That's not so little, and all the equipment that
the twig.
The twig.
I was like, who the fuck was the pig? I don't even remember. All right, got it. The twig. Yeah,
whatever the stupid name it was.
It's just a little stick that they carry. It's like this little tree branch. It's nothing.
Yeah, it's nothing. So that was awesome because at first there was a lot of individuals, and we soon realized that we're not going to complete this evolution unless we work together. And we work efficiently and effectively, and we move with a purpose, because we don't want to be on that hill all day. And that was honestly my favorite. It was hard, it was long, it was never ending, and then we almost did it again, which was I was ready for it. As soon as you said do it again, during that hill climb was the time where I had to switch, and it was just like, I'm ready to do whatever. It doesn't
Everyone's
matter.
got that moment, and that's always my favorite moment for each individual, is that at one point you flip the switch. Like at that point, nothing can stop you, nothing can break you. It doesn't matter. Like, what more could you do to me? I'm already here. There's nothing, and that's awesome. That was your where you flipped the switch. And you guys were actually screwed, because when we lined up for the first hill, because you were carrying several pieces of gear, and then one guy just the thought of going on this hill carrying this stuff, if you remember, he quit right before you started.
He was holding one of the pieces of equipment with me. Yeah, I remember.
He literally put it down and walked away and rang the bell right there. So you guys got fucked, because you then had to carry his load. And I think it may or may not have upset me. I don't remember, because I blank out sometimes, that I'm even added more stuff for you to carry than you were even supposed to carry with him. So you had his stuff plus additional. So you had to figure out. And that was the ultimate teamwork. And it took you guys a while to figure it out, but you figured out how to be efficient and make it happen. And it took a while. It was brutal, but you figured it out. So that was an awesome. That one stands out to me as like one of the highlights. Getting through that event that you guys did. That was awesome.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff during the class that was, you had to focus on yourself, but there was also a lot of stuff that we had to work together. It didn't matter who was strong, who was fast, who could run the farthest. Like, none of that matters. All that mattered was we worked together to complete the mission, and that was why it was my favorite. So. And
everyone's got their strengths and weaknesses, figuring out who would be better where, and not having any, like, subduing your fucking ego. Like, there's no time for ego. There's no time for emotions out there, because if you do, the entire team's gonna fucking fail.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So before we get to the next one, I want you to just think of, in the Marine Corps, we would always have suffering, but afterwards, we'd sit around, like if you remember the graduation dinner ceremony that we have, the whole time, all we're doing is laughing about some of the crazy shit that happened.
Absolutely.
So I want you to think of, and before we do that, I'm going to tell you something during your class. I want you to think of an experience there that afterwards you're thinking, that was some good shit, or that was just some funny shit. But I want to let you know how, or you probably do know, because we were doing a crawl one time, I think with a sledgehammer. I don't remember exactly what we were doing. And there's cameramen around, right? Because we're getting tons of footage. And you looked up at the camera actually twice. And the cameraman caught you smiling and like throwing up a peace sign or like a thumbs up or something, smiling at the camera. And no one ever would have known about it. So I just want you to know that and then you may or may not have gotten punished and tortured, and everyone got tortured for you doing that. But the only reason we knew about that is because the guy behind the camera right now, Ed, he came up to me, pulled me aside, like interrupted the entire project, said, "Hey Steve, you might want to check this out," and showed me the pictures of you smiling on the camera that he caught when you were down there. So you and Ed could have a conversation when we're done with this, because he caused several hours of suffering and torture for you.
Awesome. Yeah, it was honestly a way of getting out of my own head, and that was just the beginning. It was a selfish moment. It was about me at that time, of like just taking myself away from the pain, when you just have to accept the pain, and you have to realize that with pain comes growth. And no matter how bad it is, smiling or not smiling, one thing I've come to learn is you always have to maintain your composure and maintain your bearing, and keep yourself always in check, emotionally and physically. No matter what is going on, your attitude or emotion shouldn't change. If it's bad, it should be the same. If it's good, it should be the same. And that's probably the biggest thing I learned from that. Actually, that was a huge lesson for me.
And in hindsight, like, we look at it and I'm like, you know what? I fucking love that picture. I love it. I go back and I look at it like you're just enjoying the suck, like embracing the fucking suck. And that's what it was. So in the moment, like, yeah, it's exactly what you're saying, but that's what I'm saying. Afterwards, after the suffering, you're like, that's fucking awesome. Like that you can get to that frame where you even make the hard shit fun. That's what life is all about.
Absolutely.
Seeking out hard shit and finding a way to make it normal, making it fun, so that you can find a whole new level of hard shit that sucks until you can make it fun, and then just keep going and progressing in life. So I love that picture. I loved it. I loved it.
And it was funny because like before I did that, I literally said out loud, I'm like, I paid for this shit. Like I paid to fucking be here. So like I wanted to make the best of it. And I think, you know, fatigue makes a coward out of all of us. And when we suffer, we forget everything that's important, because like any human, the human doesn't want to suffer. They want to be cozy, comfy, and just have an easy life. And that's not what this is. And that's why I came. So.
Yeah, but as we looked at it afterwards, the instructors were looking at it, we're like, you know what? I fucking like that shit that you did. Like, it reminded me of a time in Marine Corps boot camp, we were doing pugilistic sticks, and you're in a pit, you were up all night, you didn't sleep for like 2 days, you didn't eat for days, and then they make you fight each other because you're just out for blood, and you're going at it. The guys on the ground, I'm fucking hitting them, and they're supposed to pull you off, but I don't know what's going on. It's like 2-on-1, and you're out of chaos, you're just hitting anything in sight, and I'm fucking smashing the guy. He's done, he's out, he's on the floor. They pull me off. Whoever's like the drill instructors pull me off. Wait, what the fuck's wrong with you? What are you doing? And the drill instructor pulls me aside as he drags me out of the cage, and it's like, that's some good shit. And the first time they had some actual human interaction, gives me a fist bump in the middle of boot camp, because that's kind of how we saw that. Like, should it be done? Maybe not. Is it fucked up? Maybe is it the wrong mind frame? Maybe not. But some good shit. That's the way we look at it. So good stuff. So are there any stories, anything that comes to mind like similar to that for you during your experience during the project that kind of stands out that afterwards you're looking at and you're like, you know what, that's some good shit, or that was some funny thing that happened? Or
it definitely had to be the low crawl. Just seeing the people quit and seeing the people that were not gonna be stopped. I think at that moment, for the most part, you saw the people that were in it for the long run, and like we all made eye contact with each other. That like, this shit is miserable, terrible, it hurts, it sucks, and we all just kept getting after it, and we all kept going, and that was a special moment, because we all, that was the first time we showed up as individuals. I'm sure we all made eye contact with each other, and we formed that bond of like these are my brothers. This is why we're here.
That's awesome how that works, right? At the worst possible times, the greatest amount of suffering, and all it takes is some eye contact. Like, we have a bond now. Like, just from going through the suck together, from experiencing this pain and sacrifice together. That's some good stuff. That's some deep stuff. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
So now let's go to graduation. You graduated. You get home. Day one. What were some of the immediate effects that you had? Some immediate of the positive effects you had that you literally can implement and make changes in, like, right away. Like, not having to. Some things are going to take time to develop. But what were some things that immediately affected you as you return home?
I'd have to say the leadership aspect was immediately applied to every aspect of my life. You have to step up and lead, but before you step up and lead, and what I mean by it was immediately applied, it was applied to myself. It was applied to, like I said, the finance, the fitness, the faith, and to my family. But how I responded, reacted, and initiated anything was, you know, if I want a certain outcome, I need to represent myself with that outcome first before I expect it from anybody else. So whether it was at the fire department, whatever the case may be, on a call, somebody didn't do something, I did it instead. Whether it was at home or you know, at the gym, and whatever the case may be, I always initiated the leadership of like, don't expect others to do something, just do it yourself, and others will follow eventually. So the leadership aspect of the lessons I learned from the instructors from the project is what I immediately applied to my life. Everything else is compounding, like we talk about. After the project is only the beginning, so you have to realize that you're not going to climb the mountain in a day, but you have to keep climbing to gain progress. And so, what were some of the, now it's a few months later, and you're actually here to be a junior instructor to help out those guys coming in. What are some of the other things that have happened over that time, that you've developed over the time, the last couple months, that have had an impact on your life, either professionally, personally, in your relationships? So two things: accountability and teamwork. So you guys held us accountable for everything and anything in the class. And what I mean by that, I'll elaborate a little bit, is you have to own and take responsibility for what's going on. You can't place blame on other people. And no matter what happens, it's ultimately your fault, whether you like it or not. So that was number one. And then the teamwork aspect of, I really poured into that with my family and my faith and with the fire department family as well, of just, making, it doesn't matter how good Julian Serrano is, if I'm not making other people better, then it doesn't matter. Like the great leadership quality of somebody is making the team better. Like LeBron James or Michael Jordan, they're great players, but the players that they're with, they come off the bench and you're like, who is this guy? And it's because of these star players that they come off the bench and they become who they are, because they bring the best qualities out of the people. So that's probably the two things that have compounded. And it's constant growth, man. It's just, it's gaining the momentum and just continuing it every day. And people slip, humans slip, you fall off track a little bit, but you need to realize, just like you maintain your bearing, that when you go up too high, you got to come back. And then if you come down low, you got to come back up to the middle. You always want to stay in the middle. And so that's
so what you're saying is one of the, and same thing in the military, in the Marine Corps, was one of the #1 responsibilities of a leader is to create future leaders. And you can't do that if you're not sharing all that information. Like those traits and skills you have, if you just have them up here and you're just using them yourself and not really teaching them to anyone else, you're just holding all that fucking knowledge hostage in your head, pretty much. It's prisoner in your head. And it's not even knowledge until you let it out. Just you having it alone is, to me, is not even knowledge until you share it. And that's the same thing, kind of like what you're saying with leadership, that you're not even a leader until you're developing future leaders, because that's where the force multiplier comes in. Imagine that in the fire department. If you can create 10 leaders on your squad, rather than you just being a leader and leading everyone, but also create a bunch of leaders, a bunch of mini you that can lead. Now you're unstoppable. That's that's the force multiplier. You could take those 10 guys and take on jobs that would normally take 100 guys, because now you have a bunch of leaders. So that's an awesome point.
Yeah, and that's you just said the key word. The special program we talked about behind the scenes in the fire department world is the end of the day goal is obviously you graduate, but they create us, or they make us force multipliers. So when we go back to our departments, we make everybody better. When we show up, whether it's a fire, a medical call, or training, or just a regular shift, another day at the fire department, the people that work with us that day are going to be better because we're there. And we're going to make sure that we maintain the standard, and we represent the standard that we maintain at all costs. So
I always say it's like cheating. Like in the Marine Corps, we were cheating. And in my businesses, it's like we were cheating because everyone else is worried about having a leader that everyone just follows. Right. In the Marine Corps, like literally from day one, you're forced to be a leader. You're taught to be a leader. You're trained to be a leader. So it's cheating, because now you have this force that can take a tiny little force that could take on massive armies because of exactly what you're saying, that force multiplier. So that's some good stuff. So what has it meant to you to be part of the brotherhood here?
It's
of the project.
I have a brotherhood in the fire department, and it's more, I'd have to say, because in the project, whether you graduated together or you were 2 classes behind me or 2 classes ahead, there's always that mutual respect and love for men that sought out suffering and made it to the other side. They didn't quit. They saw it through. And that's what this program is for, is teaching men to see hard shit through, to realize that there's greatness on the other side of anything hard you do in life.
Speaking of hard shit, what you were telling me behind the camera, what are some of the other things you've done? Like some of the crazy hard shit you've sought out in your life?
So a few months ago, I ran 100 miles in 23 hours. And I did this special operations program called Florida Smoke Divers. We started with 22 dudes and we finished with 6.
Wow.
So it's got a high fail rate. But the run, it took 23.5 hours. I didn't sleep. I think I took a 2 to 3 minute break every 7 miles. And, that was tough. But out of the 6-day program that I took, the 23-hour run that I did, and this program, they're all up there on emotion, spiritual, and physicality wise of pushing the human body to the max and seeing what you're made of, seeing like what's going to happen when it gets dark. Everybody can make a sound decision when it's sunny and 75. But when you're on a boat in the middle of the ocean during a hurricane, where does your mind go? You know, are you going to get scared?
Exactly it. It turns to your mind. Like the body part is easy, right? The physical part's the easy part because you can either do it or you can't. It's mentally and emotionally is where the real growth and development and transformation or breakdown happens.
Right. Absolutely. So yeah, that's it. It's it's the brotherhood here is real. It's not hey, here's his T-shirt and welcome. That's not how it works. You have to earn that T-shirt.
Awesome. So what would you say to someone that's in the shoes you were in before you started? When you realized that this was something you needed to become a part of, but you were having some of those doubts and fears and hesitations. What would you say to someone that's in those shoes right now that's looking at the project from the outside?
So the biggest key advice that I could give is seek being uncomfortable. If you seek being uncomfortable when you get here, it will be normal because you will be uncomfortable from the moment you get here to the moment you leave. If you do your workouts that they're prescribing you and you finish and you're like, whatever, 40 minutes in, you got 20 minutes left. Oh man, 20 minutes and I'm done. That's not how this program works. Like after that workout, you're doing other evolutions. So if you seek being uncomfortable, you will succeed. And not just in the project, at anything in life, because you will change your mind to, I'm not just here for 60 minutes, I'm here until it's over. So whether it's 75 hours, whether it's 2-3 years of a bad life, of just unforeseen circumstances that you can't control, you're gonna make it to the other side. So just seek being uncomfortable. That's the biggest advice.
Awesome. And any other additional pieces of advice for guys that are actually like the guys you're gonna be helping out with actually starting today, or future classes that they can, any words of wisdom or advice you have for any future classes coming up?
Man, nothing lasts forever. That's the biggest thing I've always been taught, and I really live by that. Whether it was the 6-day program that I did in the fire department, or it was the 100-mile run, or this class, life is highs and lows, and neither of them lasts. You feel great, like during that picture, and 2 hours later, I wasn't smiling. And, later that night, I chuckled because, it was hard. But neither of it lasts. And you just need to remember that, that pain is temporary. I know it's really it's a quote that's thrown out there, but it's true. It's not going to be hard forever. So it will end. It's just,
so while everyone else is seeking comfort and looking for the easy way out and average and ordinary lives, run towards a gunfire while everyone else is running away, and that's where the real value, the gold is by running towards that.
That's where the growth is. That's where the greatness is. It's really not hard to be great these days because all you have to do is seek being uncomfortable
and just get used to it, make it part of life. Awesome stuff. I want to thank you again for coming, Julian Serrano.
Thank you, Steve. Appreciate it.
Listen, out there in the audience, the project is all about, again, having meaningful transformation. This is about leveling up in your family, your fitness, your finances, and your faith. And there have been tons of golden nuggets dropped today, so just put in the comments down below what was the #1 takeaway point you got from this video. Make sure you like and share this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any of these future videos, so that you can learn how to become an even better husband, father, leader, entrepreneur, and man with the Project Show. I will talk to you next time. It's all about killing the bitch and unleashing the beast. You are freaking awesome. No excuses.